got this. Now, we're not going to put this chicken back in this soup just yet, okay?
All right.
Because we have these other ingredients that we have to bring down here in the broth. Now, what we're going to do with the broth, and I've got a few little surprises that might sound a little different to you ladies out there and you gentlemen that are watching this, but again, it's a creative process. I think you'll like the way it turns out. Now, usually I put about 4 of these in the pot, but I've got to warn you, I may add a little more as this cooks.
Once you taste it.
Once I taste it, I may add a little of this, a little of that, and that's what cooking's all about. It's not about having the exact measurements and then setting it on your table. If you don't taste what you're creating, you're going to have a tough time coming up with that really right. And always remember, less is best. Don't put too much salt. Don't put too much seasoning. You can always add it, but once you put too much in,
you can't take it out.
No, sir. It's done for.
I always say it's better to sneak up on it than to step on it.
Yep, exactly right. So I'm going to put about 4 of those in there for right now. Now, surprise, secret ingredient. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Right here, right here. Secret ingredient. Okay. It's called barbecue sauce. Now, I know, nobody puts barbecue sauce in chicken noodle soup, right?
I do now.
Yes. Just a very little bit, though. And then again, we may add some more as this cooks down. But I just take and I squirt a little barbecue sauce. Ah, what kind, you say? Your favorite kind?
You're way ahead of me. I don't even get to ask my usual questions.
I know. I know.
You're that good.
I'm just, well, my wife says I talk way too much, but I prefer that good rather than I talk too much, okay? So a little bit of that. Now, the next secret ingredient is right behind you here.
Okay.
It's called ketchup.
Well, see, this is what I was talking about, the complexity of flavors. It's not an extremely difficult recipe to make, but you're adding some additional things.
Yes.
It's not just salty water with a few vegetables and a chunk of chicken floating in it.
So we shoot a little bit of ketchup in there, just a nice squirt around as you saw me do. Again, I may add some more before this is done, or I may not. The more you make it, the more you'll get it just the right amounts, and you won't have to keep tweaking it. But you always have to tweak it a little bit.
Sure.
That's part of the fun right there. Now, what I'm going to do is just take these tongs right here and swish it around a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to mix that up because any of these sauce type things that have kind of a little bit of sugar content, if you just shoot them in there and let them sink to the bottom, they'll stick.
You want to, yeah, you want to mix it up. See, you're getting a nice sheen on there.
Beautiful.
And you can see the colors and oh, it's good on the sinuses right there, huh? Especially that spicy Mexican chicken broth stuff there. And we just kick that in there like that.
Right.
We put some carrots in here like this.
Now I noticed you diced them a nice size, not too small, not too big. And that's one of those things that helps them cook evenly. If you dice something super tiny and everything else is big, in order to get the vegetables tender, you tend to overcook the little tiny stuff. So
that's exactly right. You need to stay about the same caliber. The onions, you can put as much as you want in there. The onions won't, you can't really overdo it. The cooking kind of takes the harshness out of the onions. I don't know if harshness is the right word or not, but why don't you stir that just a little bit. Heidi, can you do that with that little spatula? Kind of kick it up there a little bit. All right, let me check with this big spoon here. I have the big spoon for the big chef. That's her.
She's the top chef now. Yeah.
I mix it up with the spoon, and then what I like to do is I'd like to bring the spoon out and I look at the mix that I've got in the spoon. Now I've got a lot of celery there, so I'll do that a couple times and just see. So we're a little heavier on celery, but the celery will cook down. But I can see about what I got. I actually could have used a little more onion in that mix, but it's okay. But you see how it comes up to about the same mix every time? The same amount? That gives you an idea what your recipe's doing.
Okay.
All right. Now, what we're going to do, the noodles are going to go in last. But I'm going to do that on the stove because what I've got to do now is I'm going to set this on the stove. I'm going to bring this back up to a boil, and then you'll see me put the noodles in. I cook the noodles down, and when the noodles are about halfway cooked through, I add the rest of the chicken. And that way, because you don't want to mush your chicken, you know.
Right.
If I put it in now and then bring that up with the noodle, it'll just make, because that chicken's very tender, and it'll just turn to mush in there.
Right.
And you want crispy chicken isn't the right word, but you know, you want a
firmer, good texture,
a firmer, tender texture. That's a good word. You've cooked before, haven't you?
Yesterday,
first time. First time yesterday. Well, you've got it. You've got it down pat.
Well, I have a thesaurus at home, so I was looking up words.
All right, let's set this back over on the stove right now. Bring it up to a boil, and then we'll add the noodles. And then the best part of it comes in. We put the chicken in, and then we taste it after it cooks just a little bit.
Sure.
That's when we go back now, and we'll add some more things to bring it up to where it's just primo.
Excellent.
Or you spit it out. One of the two. One of the two is going to happen.
I don't think we're doing that. Okay, the stock has come to a boil. It's got the vegetables in it. And I guess we're ready to do the noodles and the chicken?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Now, I got to tell you, I cheated a little bit, and I tasted the broth, and it was really good.
All right.
Now, we're going to put the noodles in here. That will change the seasoning in the broth. So you got to know that when you taste the broth like this with the vegetables in it, these suck up a lot of that in the noodles and everything, and it'll suck up a lot of the water. So this is a critical part here of getting your noodles boiled, okay?
All right.
Because now you'll see how much broth you're going to have. If you like a lot of clear broth, then you'll have to add a little water to it. When you do that, it'll change your seasoning.
Right.
So that's where, when this is all done, the last tasting is the most important one before you shut down the stove. That's when we'll add what we got to add. Right now it tastes wonderful. Now, I'm just going to add this whole bowl in at one time by going to the edge here. There we go. Thank you, Heidi.
The noodles are finished, so we brought it off the stove. So we can go ahead and add the chicken.
I'm going to cut the chicken up a little bit here. You can see it. I'm just going to do it a fast way. I'm not going to take it back out and put it on a cutting board or anything like that. I'm just going to get it in smaller pieces right here in the pan. Okay. I think I got it pretty.
Looks great.
Well, even if you miss a few and you got a big old chunk in there, somebody will be happy to get that big chunk.
Yeah, get the bonus.
They're not going to be insulted. So I'm just going to put this up here, and I kind of drop it down in there a little bit because you don't want this stuff hitting. This broth is very hot, and you don't need to splash them back up on your face.
Wow, that looks beautiful.
Well, now see how much thicker that's getting?
Right.
I'm going to put this back on the stove for just a touch, and then I'm going to fix you guys a nice bowl of soup. We'll lay them out here, and we'll have lunch. What do you think?
All right.
Okay, you like ice cream on your chicken noodle soup, or you just want it plain?
Ice cream.
Oh, it's delicious.
Chicken noodle soup a la mode?
Yeah, I've never had anything bad with ice cream. Have you? I've never.
Like maybe on the side.
Okay. Well, by golly, let's just
wow.
See if we can get to this then. And then again, at any time that you want to, you can add a little more seasoning. I think I'll get a little more broth in there for you. What do you think?
Yeah, that looks great.
Kind of slopping things all over the place there.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you having us out and sharing this incredible food with us. And if somebody wanted to come enjoy the restaurant, Heidi, how would they get in touch with you?
They could call us, or we do have a website, bellbucklecafe.com.
Bellbucklecafe.com, simple enough.
And the phone number is 931-389-9693. They can call and just talk to one of the managers, ask Hillary or Heidi, me, or Jeanette. We'd be glad to help them. We can do Christmas get-togethers if you need, or birthdays or anything like that. And our hours, we're open Monday from 10:30 to 2. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10:30 to 8, and Friday and Saturday 10:30 to 9, and then Sunday we are open from 11 to 5.
All right.
So they can come and enjoy everything.
Great.
Our lunch
Great
specials
food,
and dinner
little music.
specials. Yes.
And you're kind of wrangling the event center, aren't you?
Yeah, I spend a lot of my time over here, kind of back and forth, but they do a real good job over there. But I want to mention that we do a lot of different things here. We just had the Dove Brothers Quartet and a beautiful gospel show last week, and we do some music that way. We do wedding receptions, family reunions, class reunions, birthday parties, all kinds of things, and we have wonderful food here. We can do it buffet style, or we can do sit down. A lot of different things going on here. I won't go into all of it now, but just
if they need
Google
to get in
it.
touch with you?
Bell Buckle Banquet Hall, just Google it. You know, all kinds of stuff will come up, or call the Bell Buckle Cafe, or
Great.
we're pretty easy to get a hold of. Call the Sheriff's Department. You can get my cell number and catch me on the weekends. During the week, they let me work.
They let you out? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I've enjoyed having you guys.
Great. Well, I appreciate it. And if you have a great recipe you'd like to share with us, check us out on the web. It's yourplatesormine.net. Don't forget to send us an email. And who knows, we may come cook with you or come to your favorite place. Well, now's the good part. Let's dig in.
Let's eat.
Let's eat.
All right.
Great. Well,
now if I cut my finger off, you turn that camera off, okay? And we'll start over again with 9 fingers.
we've come across the street to the event center and banquet hall here in the
We're in the Kamiki.
yeah. Starting over again. I'd like to introduce you to Jay Gregory, otherwise known as the illustrious one, Sire El Jefe.
Handsome.
Handsome, almost
Handsome
forgot
Gregory.
the important
I like
one.
that one too.
And this
That
is
was-
just Heidi, as she prefers to be called.